versus North.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Nine's Wide World of Sports and our Woolies Grand Final between Brothers and Norths. Well, after the action of the semi-finals on Wednesday night, today's game should be a beauty. Let's have a look at how Brothers made it to the final. They started off with that tight win over the Jets. They hammered Eastern Suburbs at home, won a cliffhanger against winner Manly, put up a great show against the Diehards and trounced Ipswich in the semis. So as they take the field at Lang Park, let's run through the Brothers lineup. Fullback today is Peter Gill. The three quarters, Vince O'Brien, Clinton Moore, Jeff Burns and Bly Davidson. The halves are John McGraw and Greg Smith. The forwards, Steve Davis, Eric Kennedy, Gary Smith, Tony Elliott, Tony Ray and Jim Stafford. Brothers, of course, captained by Gary Smith and coached by Ross Strudwick. Norths also had a winning run in their lead up to the final. They easily accounted for Souths. They had a pretty tough victory over the Dolphins, were too good for Wests, beat the Jets in a rather disappointing game at home and won that torrid semi-final clash against the Premier's winner Manly. So the North side, without their big international prop forward Greg Dowling, is out with that hairline fracture, is fullback Michael Booth. The three quarters, Shane McMahon, Steve Roslin, Trevor Cook, Guy Harvey. The halves today are Craig Groff and Jeff Bagnall. Forwards in a tough pack, Kieran Jackson, Paul McCabe, Darryl Duncan, Trevor Lucas, Terry Carockin and Steve Herman. Well, Norths, of course, are coached by Greg Oliphant. They're captained by Darryl Duncan. Today, your central referee is David Goner, and your commentators for our Woolies final on Nine's Wide World of Sport, Alan Thomas and Michael Vevers.
And the Woolies final between Norths and Brothers, Michael Booth to start play. And we welcome back to the microphone on Nine's Wide World of Sports, former international Michael Vevers.
Well, good afternoon, Alan. A very interesting afternoon, and I'll let you take it from here.
And David Goner starts play. Michael Booth kicks off, and Steve Davis is put down just outside the quarterway. Ray goes to dummy half. And this is Eric Kennedy. It's his chance today in A-grade, Eric Kennedy. Ray in the hooking spot for Bailey. The pass goes to Peter Gill. And North's defence climb all over the top of him. Ray from dummy half.
If the North's defence is half as good as it was the other evening against Wynnum Manly, Brothers are going to have their hands well and truly full this afternoon. But I fear that the front row change will make a big difference. Of course, they've lost Reid, Gerard and Dowling, and they have Herman, Carockin and Lucas in their front row, so we'll see if those boys can carry the afternoon.
Michael Booth to the quarterway before he's put down. First man there was Jim Stafford. Harvey hitting a solid tackle. Strong defence by McGraw and Smith. Gary Smith captaining the Brothers side today in the absence of Trevor Bailey out with that ankle injury. Herman. Big task for him today. Back to Booth. And Davidson not quite there. Gill is. He gets the correct feed. And Brothers will have to hang on tenaciously here. Duncan. He's going to kick the ball backwards or sideways. He kicks it backwards to give his forwards a little bit more room.
There he is. He's having a bit of quiet chat to gee them up there.
And so it's Guy Harvey who takes the ball towards the centre of the ruck before he's put to ground. There's something on in the forwards here with Norths. Herman takes it up. Carockin goes to dummy half. It's with Duncan. And then Booth. Booth played it safe, played it forward. There's no marker. He goes to the try line. There was no marker, and there was no dummy half either.
Very quick thinking by Booth.
Bagnall. Groff with a little kick through. O'Brien's racing back, but McMahon will beat him, and that's a good try. Well done, Craig Groff, with a little left foot chip. Vince O'Brien was coming up. He had to turn around and run back, and Shane McMahon had all the time in the world. He not only got the bounce, he really didn't need the bounce, and North's lead 4-0.
Well, there it is. Puts up the kick beautifully. Brothers coming up in a big line. Look, no one within 5 to 10 metres of him. Actually, he looked up at his own sail, was onside. Here's the head-on shot. Boom. Up it goes. A beautifully placed kick. As you said,
Groff kicked it beautifully.
Fitz O'Brien really had to turn around. He was gone. He was out of the picture. As soon as the boot hit the ball there, North had the try on the board. As long as they caught it, look at that. I thought he was going to run out over the dead ball line for one dreadful moment.
He wasn't far away.
The breeze quite strong now, blowing in from the north as he comes in for the kick. It's not bad, but it's short.
It's got about 3/4 of the way. It was a real risk, Harvey. He took that ball back a long way, but he was always well short of the distance. So he doesn't convert McMahon's try, and it's North's 4, Brothers 0. Ray goes to dummy half. Now they spin it. Elliott looking for a runner, finds Ray. The pass off a North player goes to Greg Smith. Duncan put him down. Brothers are about 15 metres out. Stafford about 8 metres out. Can Brothers get over? 4-0 North's lead. Elliott looking for a runner. He found Gill, and I think that's a try. Yes, it is. It was only a short pass. Peter Gill did a bit of a juggling act, but he held it. He put it down, and referee David Goner awards the try. It's 4-all.
And here we see a big, strong run. Runs hard. Now here comes Gill, takes the short pass, nearly drops the ball, bit of a stumble, but that is classed as a sliding try, and that is definitely what North didn't want with 6 minutes to go till half-time. Brothers over. Here it is, the head-on. Now watch Gill. He slides and places it down. No double movement, nothing, what shall we say, shonky about it at all, as we have another little look at it side on. And I tell you what, not a bad effort from Gill.
Referee David Goner. Big test for David Goner today. He's only officiating in his 4th A-grade game, and this is his first final. There's only 5.5 minutes remaining to half-time. Tony Ray puts it over, and so it's Brothers 6 now leading North's 4. So Booth to restart. They're a grafting side, Brothers, aren't they? They seem to be able to bring other teams back to their speed.
Well, this is it. They're playing at their own speed. We saw them do this down at Newman Oval, and they played
the Diehards.
Diehards, yes, and they did it very well indeed. Actually, they were just out of stop position playing that.
Steve Davis running the ball out hard. 4 minutes remaining to half-time. Brothers lead 6 points to 4. And you're watching the Woolies final. Eric Kennedy, you saw the spray. Ray to dummy half. Stafford.
Oh, the perspiration flying off them as the hits are made now. There's the errors. Brothers 5, North's 8. And as that kick goes out on the full, and that about sums it up. Brothers ahead, 6-4 on the scoreboard, but those errors coming, and that means North's looking are a little tired.
Now, one of the touch judges in. Stephen Carter is on the field. There's going to be a replacement. Steve Davis is gone, and Stephen Carter is on. Well, the last time, I think the last time that most of the league public will remember Steve Carter at Lang Park was in the grand final last year. But meanwhile, Steve Carter's on the paddock. Norths are away. They're only about 10 metres out from the try line. The break come from McMahon. Bagnall, Roslin, Cook, but the defence has got over. Brothers regroup. 3 minutes to half-time. Bagnall, long pass to Groff. Another long one out towards Trevor Lucas. He gave it to McCabe, and he floats one right over the top and into touch.
I think it hit a Brothers player as he tried to flick it over the top. But another chance gone begging, and there's another mistake. Those errors creeping into North's play.
So Steve Davis is off and Stephen Carter is on. 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half. In the Woolies final, Brothers lead North 6 points to 4. Penalty to Brothers to relieve pressure. And so it'll be, well, they still don't know. Smith gives the ball to McGraw, and McGraw will give it back to Jeff Burns. I don't think Brothers have still worked out he's kicking what here.
Actually, I think Jeff Burns just does not like kicking for the line.
Well, he's found touch. That's the main thing. He's about halfway between the quarter line and the halfway inside Brothers territory is where O'Brien will take the tap. North defence hold him up. 6-4 Brothers lead. 1 minute 50 seconds remaining. Stephen Carter only knows one thing, that's to go forward. And he's hurt Kieran Jackson in the tackle. Kieran Jackson's holding that left shoulder. So Carter, with the first tackle, has hurt the nuggety and stocky lock forward from Norths. We'll keep an eye on Jackson. He's hovering out towards that outside centre position. Brothers throw it. Elliott, nice pass to Carter in the open. Carter gets to the quarterway. He's put to ground. Eric Kennedy with it. He'll put it up. Booth. Whoops. Oh, he's made a mess of it, and Brothers will score. John McGraw. Well, Michael Booth went up. Plenty of time. Bounced out of his chest. Johnny on the spot. Johnny McGraw took the ball, put it over the try line, and Brothers now lead by 10 points to 4.
And as we see the kick going up, now let's have a look at Michael Booth. He commits himself far too early. Here he comes in now, leaps, and the ball was getting back over his shoulder. He tried to get out of it. A mistake, dreadful mistake, because that really has capped North. They're going to have plenty of trouble in the second half. Here is the kick again, beautifully placed, but here he is. He commits himself. See, he goes up, and it nearly went back over his left shoulder. He's a very good man handling the ball and bombs. Oh, and I wonder what he's thinking as the ball's put over the white line, looking for a big hole at Lang Park to dive into.
Well, I think for the number of takes that he does in a season, Michael Booth, he doesn't put many down, but here's Ray.
In actual fact, you'd have to say he put that one up.
He put... Unfortunately for Michael Booth, he's usually pretty safe and sound. We've got to be fair to him, but that time he made a mistake, and unfortunately it's cost him at this stage 4. And Ray should kick this, should be 6. 6 points right on the half-time break. So it's 10-4 Brothers lead, kick to come. In moves Ray. And it's up and over. So at half-time in the Woolies final, Brothers lead North by 12 points to 4. And you're watching the Woolies final on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Your Entertainment Week starts tonight on 9 at 8:30. Academy Award winner Diane Keaton is about to play the greatest role of her career for the first time on television, The Little Drummer Girl. Tuesday night, join nominee and guest presenter Paul Hogan, adding his own style to the world's greatest awards night. Exclusive to 9, the Academy Awards. And on Wednesday night, their first-rate con selling second-rate weapons to third-world countries. Chevy Chase and Sigourney Weaver star in the hilarious deal of the century. That's this week on 9.
I can take you up and away. But how would you find me?
I could film your special day, but how would you find me?
These can help lift your game, but how would you find me?
I can add a black belt to your name. But how would you find me?
It's easy!
Open up the yellow pages. We're waiting for your call. Your telecom, Yellow Pages, the book that's got it all. Hello, Yellow Pages, every time.
The Pulsar has more starting power than any other car battery in its class in the world. Now, make a claim like that on television, and they can have your head. Unless it's true, of course.
There aren't many times that Hans and I see eye to eye. But when it comes to Chum, we've got no argument. We both agree that Chum is always so chumpy you can carve it. And it makes a great hearty dinner. The firm meaty goodness in every can provides such good value. There's no question about who's king of the castle. Och, Chum, always so chumpy you can carve it.
In 1987, Jeans West and Channel 9 will pay tribute to Queensland youth through the Young Achiever Award. A $2,000 savings voucher from the Bank of Queensland goes with a prestigious award for achievement in the arts, community service, career, entrepreneurial, science and technology, and sports fields. The Young Achiever of the Year will also receive an ANZAC Round Australia trip for 2, plus $2,000 spending money. Reach out now for the Young Achiever Awards 1987.
Welcome back, everyone, to Nine's Wide World of Sports and to our coverage of the Woolies Grand Final between Brothers and Norths. Brothers leading Norths 12-4 in a tough, hard-fought first half. Let's have a look now at the statistics of that first stanza. The penalties first up, they're going Brothers' way 3-2. The scrums favour Norths 6-3. Tries to Brothers, Peter Gill and John McGraw. And Norths tries scored by Shane McMahon. Tony Ray has kicked 2 out of 2 for Brothers, and Guy Harvey, none from 2 for Norths. The handling errors, Norths putting the ball down on 11 occasions and Brothers 6. Now we have one change to the second half. Brett Kelso, wearing number 14, is on for Brothers lock forward Steve Davis. Now with all the action of the second stanza, here are your commentators once again, Alan Thomas and Michael Vevers.
As John McGraw restarts play and Brothers lead Norths by 12 points to 4. And there's already a change in the Norths lineup. Kieran Jackson, who was hit in a very, very big tackle when he tried to go in on Steve Carter, who'd been on the field only a minute. Apparently he has done a rib, and he was straight off at the half-time break. And 14, Brett Kelso is on. And it looks as though Kelso has gone into the centres, and Steve Roslin looks as though he's gone into the pack. But there's certainly a reshuffle here, but this is a great kick from Darryl Duncan to find touch.
But here's a chance for North. See if they can't win a scrum against the head. I doubt whether they can.
They can't, you're right. Greg Smith picks it up and gives it to Clinton Moore. And Moore's wrapped up by Groff, Bagnall and Booth. Greg Smith, John McGraw, Gill steps into open space. Can he find support? No, he can't. He'll take the tackle. He's ran the ball out of the Brothers quarter. Bly Davidson, put down by Brett Kelso, and also Michael Booth. Carter, and so Brothers are to the quarter way. Eric Kennedy, this young fellow, running straight ahead. Back to Ray, a little bit of a fumble. Whose is it? It's mine, I think. Oh, the ball went out of Herman's hands. He was never really confident of getting it. Bagnall ended up with it. And then McMahon will knock it on. And so we see North starting to falter.
Falter, all right. Not looking good at all. Here's the juggle. He ends up handing it on here. Look, very gently says, I think you better take it, son.
Well, front rowers, not always the best catchers in the world, are they, Mick?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to knock him. Opportunities don't come too often to catch the ball in the open if you're a front rower.
So Brothers lead Norths by 12 points to 4. Up comes Burns to kick for touch.
There's Greg Dowling sitting in the stand, the man holding his chin up. He doesn't have to. It's only hairline fractured, but I think Norths definitely need him out there. He's looking pensive there, Al.
Yes. Well, his team's down by 12 points to 4. As O'Brien just about runs through the lot. He does, Vince O'Brien. He scored. Oh, dear. Where was the Devils' defence?
Nowhere at home. As you'll see on the replay, he just, for a winger, and he's not big. Look, he picks it up from the tap. Straight past 2 forwards, the 2 front rowers, pushes off Bagnall like he wasn't there, and puts the ball down and says thank you. And look at it. We'll have a look at the head on. This is easy stuff. Look, goes between
Herman and Lucas.
Yes, 2 pathetic tackles. Ta-da, Bagnall. Booth's there just far too late. McCabe, well, he just didn't get there. And that is the end. That is the nail in North's coffin for this afternoon.
He hits them all right too, Tony Ray's nothing wrong with that. That's over. And Brothers now lead North by 18 points to 4. North's a big chance here. They have to score here, McVeevers.
If they're going to get anywhere near this game, they have to put 6 points on the board within the next 2 minutes. And this is the only opportunity I think they'll have.
McMahon. Bagnall to dummy half. Gerard across the face. He's put to ground. Underneath was Stafford. Bagnall again. It's now with Duncan. Duncan slips. They're 8 metres out, the Devils. Bagnall. This is David Rafter towards the sticks. He's about 3 metres out from the line. Do or die effort stuff from the Devils here. Gerard holding the pass for Bagnall. Bit of room to move. Back to Gerard, to Rafter. Rafter's centimetres from the try line. Last tackle coming up. Booth, little chip kick. Vince O'Brien takes it, runs it out of his in goal. North just finding it hard to penetrate. Carter. Nice tackle by Kelso. Got Carter right around the ankles. O'Brien going through them again. North valiantly holding on. Davidson goes himself, and that's where he's put down 3 metres out. Carter. Greg Smith. Jim Stafford. And a penalty for a Shepherd. Well, let's have a look at the replay.
Tell you what, for a moment there, it looked as though he was just going to stroll through and put the ball over the line. Let's see what happens here.
Tony Elliott was the man in the road. Referee David Gona says you can't do that. The penalty goes to Norths, and they find touch right down near the halfway mark, so it's a good gain there. 18-4, 18 minutes remaining. Brothers lead. Rafter.
That was a headbutt. Yes.
There's trouble here. Tony Elliott and David Rafter were the two originally involved.
Hello.
And it's just a...
Michael Booth having a little bit of hold me back. And he's standing in the back of the pack.
Well, what did happen, Michael?
Well, watch the headbutt. Now, he comes in up underneath. Now, here it comes. It's short head now. Bang, there. That's what started the ruckus. The kid copped the face full, and in they went, and that's the story. But I was amused at Michael Booth standing at the back of the pack having a pick at whoever walked past, and they let him do it.
Now, touch judge Kerry Gray reporting on Tony Elliott, and he's got 10 minutes in the sin bin.
And as he walks off, if he shakes his head...
Tonight, Sir Joe fights back. He says church workers will help him become Prime Minister. Fire destroys a Brisbane women's refuge. An art masterpiece set to be auctioned for some $20 million. On the Gold Coast, a man with a message. All today's sports action, plus the most unusual wrestling match you're ever likely to see. National 9 News, tonight at 6.
And so it's McGraw to restart. Ray, here's Eric Kennedy. He's put to ground. Steve Herman, the North front row, has just about played himself into the ground. Stafford puts it down. McMahon will clean up.
And who hit Stafford? Raft. Made him lose the ball.
Duncan. Can the Devils get over the try line? Gerard on the quarterway. He's put down. 15 minutes remaining. Brothers lead 18-4. Bagnall, McCabe back into the ruck. There's no room there, and the former internationals put to the ground. Jim Stafford and Gary Smith doing the damage. Bagnall through Groff to Cook, and the wraparound was no good. It's gone forward. And referee David Gona ruling that Bagnall was offside, and the penalty to Brothers.
Well, they lost the ball, then they regained it again in an offside position, as you see here. Bagnall recovering the ball in the offside position.
So Burns to come up for kick for touch.
And this game has livened up in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Tony Elliott has about another 7 or 8 minutes or so in the sin bin. Jim Stafford leaving the field. He's played very, very strongly today, Jim Stafford. And in a hot day, he's done his job in tradesman-like fashion. Smith. So Stafford is off. Mark Coyne will come on, and that'll mean a reshuffle in the Brothers' side. Peter Gill. He got away, almost got away from Darryl Duncan. Ray flicks one back, picked up by Greg Smith. He gets the pass to Peter Gill, inside to Johnny McGraw. That's the try line, that's the game, that's the Woolies final. John McGraw in for his second try, and Brothers now lead Norths by 22 points to 4.
Oh, well done, Brothers. Not good defence from Norths, but Brothers still had to work for this try. Here it is, some very nice short passing. That was a bit scrappy, but it starts from here.
Greg Smith started it.
Well, he got the pass away to Gill, drew 2 men to do it, got the ball flat-footed. Booth was gone as far as defence goes there, and easy as you like. Here it is, the start of it.
Well,
oh, they are back live now. Sorry.
So the referee has ruled a double movement against John McGraw, and with 12 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, I don't know whether we can have a look at that replay again. Meanwhile, Gerard races away.
Yes, it would be. It looked pretty clean to me, and he just stretched out and put the ball over the line. But, hopefully we'll be able to have another look at that and satisfy ourselves if possible.
Well, I can tell you there's 2 commentators that didn't think there was any chance of a double movement.
Well, here it is. He's hit the ground. There's the double movement. The referee was right. He rolled the ball onto the white line. He was 3 inches short of the line, or 7 centimetres, whatever you think's a fair thing, and rolled on the white line as Brothers attack again.
Bly Davidson has been replaced by Joe Kilroy. Well, that ball must have been, as you say, Mick, only a whisker short of the line, and he's rolled it on the line. But while the referee was ruling a double movement, we were congratulating Brothers and looking at the replay and seeing how they did it. Well, they haven't did it or done it, but they still lead 18-4. And there's 11.5 minutes remaining.
And they wish they'd done it. Bly Davison off, as we saw there.
It's with Gerard now. Bagnall through Booth and then to McCabe. Oh, in open spaces. Who's with him? McMahon was too far back and the cover defences got over and he's lost the ball. Brothers will pick it up. Greg Smith back to Vince O'Brien and he's put it to ground.
Well, I tell you what, that was sloppy play. Good break from McCabe, but the support very slow to get to him. He hasn't had a happy game, McCabe, this afternoon, but still, that was a good break. It basically boils down to see if Norths can cross Brothers' line now.
Well, they won't be crossing it for the next 6 tackles because the penalty goes to Brothers. And with only 10.5 minutes remaining, Burns will come up to try and kick for touch.
With his usual speed.
Yes, he doesn't show any great dash when he comes up to kick for touch.
There's usually the 3 passes to get the ball back to him. I suppose you could say he was conserving his energy.
So Burns to find touch. Oh, he doesn't, has he? Has that come in field? It has. Well, Michael Booth takes it. And that is one error which should never occur. Not that close to the touchline.
Not at all.
Herman.
Golden opportunity to put Norths under great pressure. And he missed. Here it is. Booth takes it beautifully on the like Rudolf Narayev.
He did it well. Yes. So Norths are in possession. They're 20 metres inside their own territory as it goes through Bagnall. He missed out McCabe through Groff and then eventually to Trevor Cook. The cover defence of Jeff Burns picks him up. McCabe. The pass went on the ground, but it was picked up by Groff. Eventually it goes to Michael Booth. And Booth with no one there. So he'll play it. And the penalty. Not getting off the player, that's Mark Coyne, the brother of Peter Coyne, who plays with the Diehards. And so from a quick tap, Bagnall takes it within about 15 metres of the quarterway. 9 minutes remaining, 18-4 is the score. Brothers lead. Gary Smith penalised. So North can kick this ball deep into the quarter. They do. 20 metres out from the try line is where McMahon will restart. McMahon across field. He's put to ground. Mark Coyne and Clinton Moore were there. McCabe. A pass to Herman, who's made the break.
That was a great defensive hit.
Peter Gill was the man who's hurt him. Gerard. Long pass to Kelso.
He's still down.
That's what you get with a legitimate, hard, precise tackle from Peter Gill. And so Norths are about 10 metres out from the try line. Duncan by himself. A speculator on the wing which goes into touch.
Yes, that was a very good tackle from Gill. And he's a big, tall, rangy, bony fullback, Gill. And, well, you'd think a forward would come out on top running into him like that. But, well, maybe we'll be able to have a look at it. Yes, here it is. Straight in now. Boom. Under the short rib. And really rolled him over quickly and nicely.
Winded him by the look of it.
And that, yes, everything. At this stage of the game, he'd be feeling totally ill. I would.
Here comes Tony Elliott back on.
And that with Elliott coming back on, I have to make the comment that Norths didn't take the advantage of him being off. If ever they were going to score the try, it was while he was off the field and they were a man short.
Just under 8 minutes remaining. Brothers lead 18-4. Smoking Joe Kilroy almost to the quarterway before he's put to ground. Jeff Burns off. Brett McCarthy on. Brett McCarthy playing in number 6. Mark Coyne at the middle of the ruck. He's got about 15 metres out from his own quarter where Johnny McGraw will carry it on from there. Ray into open space. Booth gets the nice bounce, runs it out of his quarter. Steve Carter's the first man there and puts him to ground. They'll play it. Penalty against Gary Smith. That's the second one he's given away in about 3 minutes. And so we'll see North kick for touch.
Actually, watch the right knee here.
I think he's got him from over the top. I think
they were trying. Look, there's the knee go in, and he missed that. I thought I saw it, and that's, oh well, unwarranted. Yes, plenty of niggle, and it's unwarranted.
Greg Carson is coming on, replacing Herman.
Herman going off, injured arm there, by the look of it.
So replacements all over the paddock here in the dying stages of the Woolies final. That is Carson with the ball now. Greg Carson, big lump of a lad. He's put to ground. Duncan, Booth. He's put to ground by John McGraw. It's had a pretty fair game at 5/8. John McGraw, Bagnall, Groff, Cook. Now the pass goes to Kelso. A pass inside, went to ground. Dived on by Trevor Cook. Carson feeds Groff. Groff's got nowhere to go. The brothers' defence holds. Just under 6 minutes remaining. What's Bagnall do? Comes off the side of his boot out towards Carter. He lets it bounce. Then he picks it up. McKay pounces on him. Carter with a bit of a smile. Plays back to Kilroy. McGraw. Brothers just playing out the motions, really. 5 minutes and 23 seconds remaining. Rucking it up through the middle. David Rafter. Greg Carson put him to ground. Ray with the half break. Tony Elliott back on the field. Goes to dummy half. Smith. It's for Booth. He took it without any pressure. And that's where he's put to ground. Brothers lead Norths 18-4 in the Woolies final. Carson brings it away. There's just under 5 minutes remaining. Gerard. He'll play it through Carson to Duncan. Duncan put to ground.
Duncan's been rather quiet this afternoon for Norths.
Yes, Mick, I think we said it earlier in the telecast. I don't think Norths have got over that bone-crushing match against Wynnum, really.
No, you have to be fair to them. That was one of the toughest games I've seen in club football since I've come home from Sydney, and that was in '70. So I've seen some State of Origin matches, but not a club game that matched up to all-night hits. Legitimate hits, great defence from both sides, and it was an entertaining match. And unfortunately,
Cheers, Woolies grand final. Brothers have it shot to bits, 18-4. How have you seen the game, Mick Veets?
Well, you've just said it. Brothers looking very strong. I think they're the team to watch for the grand final this year. Let's talk about North quickly. And firstly, I thought this David Rafter is, when he came on to replace, as a replacement, he played brilliantly. I thought Roslin, who moved in from the centres and played in the second row, is going to be a good player for North this year when they settle down. Trevor Cook didn't have a bad game in the centres. He tried hard, but there wasn't too much clean ball getting out to North's back line this afternoon. But a little bit disappointing. But as we said, not making excuses for North, they played a very hard game against Wynnum the other night, and I don't think they're over it.
Forward pass, penalty, Brothers.
Getting over to the Brothers' side, Peter Gill once again had a magnificent match. It moved him up into the centre, Strudwick, and he still played well there. Vince O'Brien played well on the wing, scored an individual try brilliantly, and well, he caused North's trouble every time he touched the ball this afternoon. In the forwards, well, I thought Tony Elliott was the leader. He stood out, he went all afternoon, backed up by Stafford in a smaller fashion, but Brothers seemed to play a grafting type of game, slowed the game down to their speed, and all in all, worked the game very well and capitalised on North's mistakes and deserved to win the game, Al.
Well, when you have a look at Brothers' depth, and you can have these fellows sitting on the sideline, Steve Carter, Joe Kilroy, Brett McCarthy, and Mark Coyne. Got a bit going for you.
Yes, well, this is it. They seem to have tremendous depth, Brothers, and lots of players that can play in many positions, which is handy.
McMahon put to ground.
Whereas on the other hand, we might say that North, they'll be looking for depth if they've still got any.
Yes, I wouldn't be riding Norths off. You get Dowling and Reed back on the paddock. They make a big difference.
Oh.
And these fellows have tried hard today. Steve Herman tried very hard. He had a big role to fill today, and he tried hard all day. Took the ball up and did his share of work. I thought he acquitted himself very well, Steve Herman.
Well, he was safer than he was the other night, and well, that's an improvement, and that's all you have to do.
Smoke and Joe trying to pick it up.
Bit hard when you tackled without the ball.
It didn't matter, he got there. Clinton Moore through Gill, picked up by O'Brien, and with 20 seconds remaining, he goes to ground.
I might take this opportunity to say I was disappointed in McCabe this afternoon. Norths were looking for a big game from McCabe, and he just didn't give it, only in little spasms. A little bit disappointed.
And there's the full-time hooter, and Brothers have won the Woolies grand final. They've defeated North by 18 points to 4, and you'll be watching the Woolies final here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.